Imagine this for a moment. It's late afternoon. The light feels too bright. There's a dull pounding behind your eyes, and you're thinking, here we go again. You reach for painkillers. Maybe you lie down. Maybe you just try to push through. But what if I told you that for many seniors, one simple savory food, something you may already have in your kitchen, can help calm certain headaches in as little as 15 minutes? Not a drug, not an injection, not an expensive supplement, but a food. And even more surprising, it works not by masking pain, but by addressing a common trigger that doctors see over and over again in older adults. If you've struggled with frequent headaches, or you care for someone who does, you'll want to hear this all the way through, because this could change how you think about headache relief entirely. Now let's get something clear right away. Headaches in seniors are incredibly common, but they're often misunderstood. Many people assume headaches are just part of getting older, or they chalk them up to stress, poor sleep, or bad weather days. While all of those can play a role, doctors who work closely with older adults know that a large percentage of recurring headaches come down to very basic physiology, especially changes in hydration, minerals, blood flow, and nerve signaling. As we age, our bodies don't regulate fluids and electrolytes as efficiently as they once did. Thirst signals become weaker. Kidney function changes. Medications can alter salt balance. And all of this can quietly set the stage for headaches that feel mysterious but are actually very logical once you understand what's happening inside the body. One of the most overlooked triggers of headaches in seniors is mild dehydration combined with low sodium levels. I'm not talking about severe dehydration, where someone feels dizzy or faint. I'm talking about subtle dehydration, the kind that doesn't always make you feel thirsty, but is enough to shrink blood volume slightly and affect pressure in the head. When that happens, the brain's pain, sensitive structures can become irritated, leading to that familiar throbbing or pressure, like headache. This is especially common in older adults who drink mostly plain water without enough electrolytes, or who avoid salt aggressively because they've been told for years that salt is always bad. Here's where the savory food comes in. One of the fastest ways doctors recommend addressing this specific type of headache is a small serving of a salty, protein-rich broth, particularly bone broth or a well-made, meat-based broth. This isn't about loading up on junk food or processed snacks. It's about giving the body exactly what it's asking for in that moment: fluids, sodium, and supportive nutrients in a form that's easy to absorb. Warm broth is absorbed quickly. It gently raises sodium levels, and it helps restore blood volume, which can reduce headache pressure surprisingly fast. Many people report noticeable relief within 15 minutes, sometimes even sooner. Why broth and not just salt water? Because the body responds better to balanced inputs. Broth contains sodium, yes, but it also contains potassium, magnesium, amino acids, and collagen compounds that support blood vessels and nerve function. Warmth itself also plays a role. Warm liquids can relax blood vessels in the neck and shoulders, areas that often contribute to tension-related headaches. When you combine warmth, hydration, and electrolytes, you create a perfect storm for relief. Especially in headaches linked to dehydration or low sodium. Doctors often see seniors who drink coffee in the morning, maybe tea in the afternoon, and water here and there, but very little that actually replenishes electrolytes. Coffee and tea can act as mild diuretics, meaning they encourage fluid loss. Add in medications like diuretics for blood pressure, and you can see how quickly someone can slip into an electrolyte imbalance without realizing it. The headache that follows isn't random. It's a signal. And broth answers that signal in a way that painkillers simply don't. Another reason this savory solution works so well is blood sugar stability. Headaches can also be triggered by drops in blood sugar, which are more common in older adults who skip meals, eat light breakfasts, or rely on refined carbohydrates. Broth contains protein and amino acids that help stabilize blood sugar gently. Unlike sugary snacks, it doesn't cause spikes and crashes. Instead, it provides a steady, calming input to the nervous system. This is one reason many doctors recommend broth in the late morning or mid-afternoon, times when headaches often strike. Now, let's talk about what kind of broth actually works, because not all broths are created equal. The best option is a simple bone broth or meat-based broth with real salt, not artificial flavorings. It can be homemade or store-bought, but you want to look for something with minimal ingredients, no added sugars, and a reasonable sodium content. Low-sodium broths are often not helpful in this situation. Remember, the goal here is to replenish sodium, not avoid it entirely. A small cup, about 8 to 10 ounces, is usually enough. You're not drinking a whole pot. You're giving your body a targeted dose. If you're making it at home, simmering chicken bones, beef bones, or even a simple meat broth with vegetables can work beautifully. Adding a pinch of sea salt can make it even more effective. If you're buying it, read labels carefully. Many boxed broths are watered down and lack minerals. Some refrigerated or frozen bone broths are more concentrated and closer to what doctors recommend. Timing matters too. This approach works best at the first sign of a headache, not after hours of suffering. When you feel that pressure starting, that tight band around your head, that dull ache behind the eyes, that's the moment to act. Sit down, sip the broth slowly, and give your body 10 to 15 minutes. Often the headache will soften, then fade. Even if it doesn't disappear completely, it usually becomes much more manageable. Of course, this doesn't mean every headache is caused by dehydration or low sodium. Migraines, cluster headaches, and headaches linked to serious medical conditions require medical evaluation. But for everyday, recurring headaches that seem to come out of nowhere, especially in seniors, this simple strategy is often remarkably effective. Doctors appreciate it because it's low risk, inexpensive, and works with the body rather than against it. Another important factor is nerve signaling. Sodium plays a critical role in how nerves transmit signals. When sodium levels are too low, nerve communication can become erratic, leading to pain, sensitivity to light, and that foggy feeling that often accompanies headaches. Broth helps restore that balance gently. It's not a stimulant, and it doesn't numb pain artificially. It simply helps nerves function normally again. There's also a psychological comfort element that shouldn't be ignored. Warm, savory foods have been used for centuries to restore strength and relieve discomfort. Think about how instinctively people turn to soup when they're not feeling well. That instinct exists for a reason. The body recognizes warmth, salt, and protein as signals of nourishment and safety. This can help calm the stress response, which itself can worsen headaches by tightening muscles and increasing pain perception. Now let's talk about what not to do when you have a headache, because many common habits actually make things worse. Reaching immediately for sugary snacks can cause a brief lift followed by a crash that intensifies the headache. Drinking large amounts of plain water without electrolytes can dilute sodium further, especially if you're already low. Skipping meals because you don't feel like eating can prolong the problem. And overusing pain medications can lead to rebound headaches, where the body becomes dependent on the drug and reacts with pain when it wears off. This doesn't mean pain medications are always bad, but they shouldn't be the first and only line of defense. Addressing hydration, electrolytes, and nutrition often reduces the need for medication altogether. Many doctors encourage seniors to think of food as part of their treatment plan, not just something they eat for pleasure. It's also worth mentioning that this savory approach can be adjusted based on individual needs. Some people do well with vegetable-based broths if they include enough salt. Others prefer chicken or beef broth for the added protein. If someone is sensitive to sodium due to certain medical conditions, they should talk with their healthcare provider about appropriate amounts. The key is balance, not extremes. Preventively, including small amounts of broth in your routine can help reduce how often headaches occur in the first place. Some seniors drink a cup in the morning or afternoon, especially if they're active, take diuretics, or live in a warm climate. This simple habit can support hydration and electrolyte balance throughout the day, making headaches less likely to develop. Let's also address a common fear: salt and blood pressure. This is where nuance matters. Excessive salt from processed foods is not the same as moderate salt from whole foods like broth. Many seniors are actually consuming sodium, especially if they've been strictly avoiding salt for years. Low sodium can cause headaches, fatigue, and even increase fall risk due to dizziness. Doctors now recognize that sodium needs vary widely between individuals, especially as we age. Broth provides sodium in a controlled, measured way, not in the overwhelming doses found in fast food. Another benefit of broth is its effect on the gut. A healthy gut supports nutrient absorption, inflammation control, and even brain health. Amino acids like glycine found in bone broth can have calming effects on the nervous system, which may further reduce headache intensity. This is one reason people often report feeling more relaxed after drinking broth, not just less pain. If you're thinking, this sounds too simple to be true,